So we're here to make a tier list before Fontaine, because actually Fontaine is going to be released in about 5 days, I think, is more or less. Before, like, there are new characters, I think this is the ideal period to make a tier list, just because there are going to be a lot of new characters to play. And yeah, so as you can see, I'll show you briefly that I have organized the characters based on their region, based on their nation, and technically also a bit chronological, in a chronological order, but I can't quite remember clearly, so just take it for more or less. So we can start with Mondtadt, the nation of the Anemo, with our Anemo traveler. So I honestly, I actually like the Anemo traveler quite a lot, but in fact I'm very sad to say this. He's a D tier character, because oh well, I haven't explained the tier, but by the way, this is a pre-made template. Just as can you see, the S tier are the best character for me, and the D tier the worst character for me. It's all based mostly on my personal opinion as a player. You may differ, it's okay, I mean, it's normal, and this tier list will be based only on my experience and what I think about the characters. Well, D tier, the Anemo traveler, because his elemental burst is quite useless. I mean, you can use it on hillagers, on small villager and something like that, but in fact, like, because the enemies have become so big, they probably just ignore your elemental burst and you'll stay there, by looking at your tornado going away. Yeah, and it was already quite sad, like quite inefficient since it's released, because the tornado will just drag the small enemies away, and it used to be like you throw the enemies off from the spiral abyss or something like that, or you have to make the tornado bump into a wall, but it was so strange that I personally have never used. I remember using the tornado to just kick the enemy off from where I was, but still, although he's an Anemo characters have this a boost of the artifacts that they can use, which is the Viridescent Venerer, which is a great artifact set, and it makes Anemo character more valuable. But the Anemo traveler for me is a D tier. I'm quite sad about this, because I liked the Anemo traveler quite a lot. I used to enjoy his elemental skill. Next one, Amber, the Outrider. Amber is also a D tier character for me, and the reason is quite simple. Amber, I just can't really use her properly. The constellations are very hard to get. That's even more a reason that she's in a D tier, because Kaya and Lisa are the characters with the hardest constellation to get. It's true that you can get them from the shop, but you can get only 2 constellations per year. I recently got Kaya C6. It took me 3 years, and with 2 of them I got 2 Kaya's constellation from the standard banner. But because I haven't bought any constellation during the first year of the game, but yeah, but it's a very harsh thing. I have Lisa and Amber at C0, and unless I'm buying their constellation from the shop, which I don't think I would do, because their constellation means 5 single pulls, guys. 5 single pulls for Amber Lisa constellation, which are not even that great. So, and Amber's burst is like very short, you can't really do anything. The Baron Bunny is just quite useless, and yeah, overall Amber is a D-tier character. They don't. By the way, the characters I'm putting in the order of the characters doesn't have a necessary meaning of which is the best from the D tier and the worst, but sometimes it will be not necessarily. Lisa, I have said D tier as well, but because Lisa's has become quite useful, because her elemental burst is still a burst that stays on field, but it's quite long. It's true that Lisa has the same problem with the constellation, and she has a constellation that gives her more defense, which I did not understand. But because of the danger, I placed Lisa on C tier, but as one of the last characters. She has a position in this tier because she has to be one of the characters that stays on the back, because she's not a very excellent character because of her constellation, and because her constellation are even useless. At least at least one of them, and yeah. So the next one we have Kaya. So before Danger, I would say that Kaya is definitely the best from the starter trio. And I do have Kaya C6, so I'm quite biased toward him. But I think Kaya can be a C tier character as well, because he has an elemental burst that stays on field and applies cryo just like Lisa. And although Kaya has a better constellation than Lisa, and the problem is Kaya's elemental burst is a short range, so and it's like Shanling's elemental burst, but the range is so short that you have to go attacking enemies, and so they both have pros and cons. I'm placing Kaya before Lisa just because I'm personally biased towards Kaya. They don't have that much of difference, and because I think Kaya's constellation are better compared to Lisa's. I personally play Kaya with Diluc, but we can play Kaya with even Child or any characters that mix reaction with cryo, and with Razor for example, and goes like close to in combat. Next one, Noelle. So Noelle is quite hard because she completely changes from having her C6 and without having a Noelle C6. And for me, Noelle C6 is a budget Aratakito. She doesn't. She's not that weak compared to Aratakito, because Noelle has a shield and can even heal herself, and she can heal the entire party if I'm correct. I never played Noelle, so I can't say quite, but it's also true that her strength comes from her constellations, which maybe I shouldn't bother with the fact that her strength comes from constellation. I think Noelle can be a honest B tier character. I wouldn't recommend you to roll for her on the beginner wish because it's pointless. I have Noelle C6 without doing particularly anything. I think Noelle can be a honest B-tier character, maybe not the one of the strongest. I'll put Noelle on the list side, on the last side, because still is strongly related to her C6, because having C6 is maybe 6 constellation, I mean, can be quite hard to get. It really depends though, because if you're a veteran player or if you have been playing Genshin Impact for at least a year, you probably have no LC6 anyway. So yeah. Oh, Fisher S tier for me. So Fisher is one of the first character I have been playing. She was one of the first character I used in Genshin Impact because I have been playing since the 1.2, since the second patch, Genshin Impact second patch. I think it was 1.2, and Fisher was given as free character during that time, but Fisher is strong. She's very fun to play. She has a nice output damage. She is an electric character, and especially because of the danger, she has even more use. And actually, there's artifact set that will boost her even more after Fontaine's release. So because Fisher, in my opinion, is already a S tier character, she will jump into another level after that artifact set, because Fisher is just so great. She is very versatile. You can use many artifact set on her. She has many weapons. Nothing else to say. I have been using Fisher since the beginning. And yes, she doesn't have any issues with her constellation because her constellation are strong. She has many weapons and everything. Yeah, I haven't thought about the weapons. Noelle actually has a nice free-to-play weapon, which is the White Blind, and also if you have the Round Stone Treasure, Noelle will change into another character, I swear, if you have the Red Hornstone Treasure. So, but by the way, talking about Fisher, she has a nice selection of weapons and artifacts also, because she can use the Tenacity of the Mililis and the Noblesse Oblige and the Gilded Dreams. A lot of artifacts. You can just build her always on Elemental Master with the Wanderer Troop and Gilded Dreams. No, it was the Gilded Dreams, I think. Or you can also use that, I forgot the name, the set that boosts the Dendro reactions. Fisher, especially because of the Dendro, has become way stronger than she was, but previously you would use Fisher as a charger because she produces a lot of particles. I have nothing to say. Fisher is just so great. Yeah. Next one, Barbara. Barbaraか。for me, personally, for me, Barbara is a tier character, but I acknowledge, because I love Barbara. I'm a Barbara main, but I acknowledge that Barbara is definitely not one of the most useful character. In my opinion, she's still a budget Kokomi, and although because Kokomi and Barbara have gained value because of the Dendro, but the problem is that there's Baichu now. There are Baichu and Yao, so I'm not that sure. I put Barbara. I'm really doing this just for the sake of being correct. Barbara on C tier. This is because mean, maybe even here. I won't be putting Barbara on D tier because she still has some use, but yeah, her elemental skill makes you more prone to become frozen if you're going against like Cryo's lines or Cryo Abyss mages. That's not good. And her C6 was something like she can resurrect that character after the character has fell down, and has a cooldown of 15 minutes. But honestly, who does use this? There's no point on this constellation, which is what her C6. Her C2 or C4 was something like boosting hydro damage to all the characters within her elemental. After using her elemental skill, the characters in your party have a boost of hydro damage bonus, but and her elemental burst is just some healing. But I'll say personally, healers doesn't have that much value for me because of another character that will be shown in just a minute. So for me, Barbara is probably one of the last character on the C tier. Sucrose. Sucrose. Sucrose, budget Kazuha. She can go in S tier in my opinion. I haven't played Sucrose because I have both Kazuha and Venti, but she's just like, she's built like Kazuha. You use Lambda Virides and Ebener on most of the animo characters, and in particular Sucrose is very nice with that set, and she has also the sacrificial fragments, which is her best weapon, and it works well. I don't have anything to say because I haven't ever played Sucrose. Besides, I use the characters I never played just to raise their friendship level, but I never leveled up them or anything. But I acknowledge Sucrose's strength. She's like the Kazuha's replacement. She has a nice crowd control. Yeah, and that's it. I don't have anything pretty much to say. Benetto S tier character. I should make another tier, because to me Benetto is a tier above any other characters. Benetto is called Pyro Archon for a reason. He's a character that was released since the first day. Still one of the strongest character in game. He's has this race with Xinchu and Xiangling, because they are like the trio. Although nowadays Xinchu might be considered better than Benetto if we're just comparing them, who should be the first character on a tier, because Xinchu is Hydro and Benetto is Pyro. But in my opinion, Benetto is the strongest 4 character in game, because he's just so easy to use. And with Xinchu I have an issue, which I'll explain later. Benetto can use many weapons. You can use both 5-star weapons or budget weapons, and whatever. He's strong. Easiest character to build. Literally, you have to slam some HP and some energy recharge onto him, and like you can also build him as a DPS if you want. He's just so nice. He heals more than any other character. He can heal as 5 healers could heal you literally, and his Bennett's healing is very fast. And oh my, I'm Islam. Bennett's healing is also very fast. He produces a nice amount of particles, and he has like 3 seconds or 2 seconds of cooldown with his elemental skill if you're just doing the tapping. Bennett can be also a great source of output damage. He boosts any characters if you have Bennett in your team, and there's just another level of quality. Bennett is he surpasses many 5-star characters. He's even stronger than many 5-star characters, and yeah, he's just insane, and also one of the most adorable characters in game. Yeah, Bennett is just that good. I don't have to explain anything. I mean, you probably know having Bennett and not having Bennett is totally different. And whenever I don't know which character I should use, just Bennett. Bennett is the first character that comes into my mind. He changed many teams. Yeah, Bennett is that good. So from Bennett to Razor, I have some issues here. I personally like Razor. Razor was my first official DPS character, and I love Razor a lot. But Razor has a big issue, which is like unlike other characters, when leveling up they have like different type of scaling. Razor has physical damage bonus. Having physical damage bonus on your as your bonus stat when you're ascending your characters means that you're getting nerfed, because if he had electro damage bonus, he could be he could have been another character in my opinion. Cute constellation, but the Razor's a physical DPS, a claymore DPS after above all, so which means he's quite slow to attack. He does become faster in his elemental burst, but you can build Fisher because she's also electro as physical DPS as well, and Fisher is just stronger. So for that reason, I can't see Razor's potential in a danger formation just because he doesn't gain anything. You're just wasting a stat because you're not using a stat of his. You're not using a physical damage bonus if you're trying to build Razor's art an electro DPS or something. Not the worst, but not the best. I put the Razor in C tier. Yeah. And Diona. Diona, I never played Diona. I used to hate Diona's character. I won't deny the fact. Diona is a cryo bow character, 4-star, cute constellation if I'm not wrong. I do have Diona C6. I have most of the 4-star and C6. I'm not sure. She can heal. She has a shield. But I'm not sure, because I'm not even sure in which team Diona works, like maybe in a freeze team where you don't want a pyro character maybe, or because if I'm playing in Melt, I rather put Bennett on the team, I think. She does have nice healing, nice decent shield. Her shield is actually stronger than most of the 4-star characters' shield. But again, and I'm not even sure which artifacts you play on Diona. She has a nice selection of both, but I put Diona above Noelle, but for me Diona is a B tier because I don't think Diona is quite relevant. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe she can be also an A tier, but like if you need a cryo healer, but again then because as healers I think Bennett is just better. I think you can just play Bennett. So I maybe I do another row. So I put Diona in, I'm not sure. This will be the new row, a new tier. Because I haven't played Diona at all, so I don't know. I think she has the potential. She does have the potential of being an A tier character, but the thing that's holding me is if I need a healer, I probably use Bennett. This is the same rule with most of the healers, or even Koki Shinobu. Like I just don't think she's in. Also, Cryo Elemental hasn't become that relevant, and I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Mona. Mona. For me, is that here for how many times he has come out from my 50-50 and banners and anything else. But Mona used to be a very strong character, and nowadays I think she's still quite good. Maybe she has less uses because you probably want other character on her place. If you need a support, you want a 5-star support, you want to choose Yelan or Shinchu. She doesn't work that well with Dendro in my opinion because she has nothing that applies with Hydro constantly. She doesn't have that great Hydro application. I do have Mona C2, I think, which are not even great constellation. Like, not. Also here, I'm not quite sure because I hate Mona so much for losing so many 50-50s, and I don't. I put Mona. Okay, so maybe I'll 8 here, maybe. Let me think, because no, if I have to think the characters I'm putting on the A tier, I'm just not really comfortable on putting Mona there. So I'm sure Mona is a B tier, and actually Diona B tier. Because thinking about which character I want in the A tier, I don't think they can fit into the A tier. Next one, Jin. Jin. This is a hard one. So, Animal Healer, 5-star. So I think I'm not sure about what where should I put? I think Jin can go in B tier. Because again, Jin is not a bad character, but she doesn't have she's not used. Even I wouldn't choose Jin as one of the characters I want because she's an animal healer, but if I need an animal character, I try to put Kazuha. If I don't have Kazuha, I probably choose I'd rather choose Sucrose. And also because the same thing, I think she can stay in B tier. She's not bad, just like Mona. They are not bad, but maybe not the characters that I would use personally. Diluc. Oh my, this is another hard thing for me. Because personally, Diluc for me is S tier. But actually, Diluc B tier because I love Diluc. I wanted Diluc so bad, and I got Diluc after a year. But is it true that Diluc doesn't have enough damage to be on the A tier? And I personally don't like Claymore user that much because I think they are quite slow during their attacks. And Diluc does have nice constellation, but if I have to think for weapons to play on him, there are not many weapons that can satisfy me. I pulled the Red Hornstone Treasure just to place it, to give it to Diluc, because I was playing like the Serpent Spine or the Prototype Archaic or something, but they're not really that satisfying to use. I think Claymore user doesn't have that nice selections of weapons, because still the Serpent Spine is a paid weapon because it's from the paid battle pass. But other 4-star weapon, honestly, I don't think they can make it. The problem is because he's an old character and he's a DPS character, a pretty old one. He doesn't have enough damage, and it's just there. Venti. Oh, Venti. I roll Venti just because he's an Archon, but I can say that he is the second character I've regretted the most rolling for. And it's quite easy because his elemental burst was nice, but it's a total bullshit. The fact that it targets the closest enemy and you don't have that much of the control of it. Very hard to use because of this. the worst, one of the characters with the worst constellation in game. He's a 5-star and has that kind of constellation. He's like a support, and you're giving me 2 extra arrows on his with his charge attacks that he doesn't even use charge attacks probably. C6, he has the 6th constellation as just like the Anemo Traveler. I mean, it's not a bad constellation, but just get not convinced with his first constellation is 2 more arrows. He does have the Viridescent Banner. But he's also an Archon character, which makes me think he's very weak. This is hard because I put Venti on C tier, honestly, but I'd be putting him among the B tier characters. Because his elemental burst is just so hard to use. Yeah, if you have a lot of enemies, and his doesn't. Yeah, another thing is Venti's crowd control affects only small enemies. He's not that bad though, but he should be a crowd. He was the best crowd control because during the first period, Genshin Impact's first period, all the enemies were quite small. But yeah, I mean, Venti. Yeah, because his crowd control doesn't even exist anymore at this point because all the enemies are big and they are not affected by it. So I'll put Venti like here in the middle of the B tier because he has one of the worst constellations overall. I don't have particular reason to use him because if I have Katsuha or Sucro, even Sucrose, yeah. So I'm sorry, but no, actually, I was never a fan of Venti's first. Venti is actually one of the characters I like the least in Genshin Impact. I don't particularly feel attached to this character, and yeah, I don't have anything to say because I'm quite sad about his kit. He's but in my opinion, he's nice to play with Albedo because he triggers Albedo's flower. Like I used to play him along with Albedo and Clay because it's quite fun, and if you have Albedo well built, it can the team can be very fun to play with and decent damage. They're not the best character in damage about damage, so yeah. The main reason is that Venti's crowd control doesn't exist and he has worse constellation, so he is B tier character for me. Clay. So, Clay is another Pyro DPS character. This thing is Clay doesn't do enough damage, and she's quite strange because I have some issues with her animations, and she doesn't have a signature weapon or a weapon that's particularly strong on her because she's a catalyst user, but all the 5-star limited catalysts are not broken as like the Red Hornstorm Treasure, Staff of Homa, Light of Fire Incision, Mist Glitter Reforge, and or Aqua Simulacrum weapons like this. She doesn't have an artifact set that works well, particularly well. And and for this reason, but I don't think it's that bad. Because I put Venti on B tier, I put Clay on B tier as well, because she's still cute. But she's also 5-star DPS. No, Clay for me is a C tier. Because because I remember the Yanfei, this woman here, this 4-star catalyst user, Pyro Vision, has if I remember having seen that she actually has more damage, talking about her scaling compared to Clay. So yeah, Clay is C tier for me. Between Clay and Diluc is better, without doubt, any doubts. Albedo, another hard one, because I think Albedo's maybe A tier. I think the A tier. He is in between A and B tier. So let's talk about Albedo's nerfs. Albedo's nerf because his best weapon is a weapon that was given from an event, which is his signature weapon. The Cinnabar Spindle he's a 4-star weapon, but it is also his best weapon, and you cannot obtain it anymore if you have not purchased it in the past event. He doesn't have a 5-star option, in my opinion. He does have some potential. He produces particles, but he has another issue, which is his flower. I have some, because it can be destroyed, and there are many situations where I saw that enemy were just destroying my flower, and you can't place the flower if there's an enemy on the spot. He does have the potential of becoming an A tier character, but thinking about this, I put him on B tier. Artifacts that he can use on the Husk of Opulent Dreams, and there's another set that's coming after on the 4.0, but we're not talking about that. Albedo does have some potential, but he doesn't have a really nice element to be fit into other team comps. Not too bad, because he's you won't break apart other elemental reactions, but he can be one of the first characters in the B tier, in my opinion. Objectively talking, I like the Albedo a lot. But there are a couple of issues here. He doesn't have a weapon that plays well on Albedo. Another weapon I use on him is the like this first event weapon, like that sword, because it gives elemental skill damage bonus, but there's another event weapon and it's not even that great on him. Rosaria. I mean, because Albedo is a 5-star character, so having these issues maybe. Rosaria is strongly related to physicals, but she can be played in other team comps as well, and she can buff the crit rate, which makes Rosaria interesting. But the main issues is, if I remember, Rosaria is another character I haven't played. I do have a Rosaria C6, nice constellation, but Rosaria, if I remember, she's another character related to the physical damage. I'm so I'm not sure about this one. This is very hard. While I have played Mika, Rosaria, Yura, and Mika, these three, they are all like physical related. I placed Rosaria in A tier, but one as one of the last list character, just because she can boost the crit rate. But maybe, I mean, yeah, maybe I'll place her here because she can boost the crit rate, which is, I think, quite nice. Eula has a nice output damage. She does a lot of damage. The issue is that she's a physical damage dealer. Mika, Mika gives you another Mika is another character related to physical damage, and he gives attack speed, which is not strong as it, which is not as strong buff as it looks. Well, so I don't have much to say about these three. I don't have Eula, and but I know that Eula does a lot of damage. She won't be one of the first care. Maybe I should do like the A- tier. I'll be skip it. Maybe I should. Let's do that. I'm giving. Oh, this is A-. So I'll put these three here instead, because these are all characters that have potential, but they are not just used. Because Eula does a lot of damage. Is the problem that if I had to think about the spiral beast, most of the the mobs have like physical resistance or something, especially the cube, no? At the moment, those are characters with potential, but they just needs that a little bit more to be A tier. Alloy, D tier. Worst character of all time, no constellation, nothing, no animations. If you're taking a look at her animation for her elemental burst, you'll notice that she's not even animated or something like that. Useless character. I didn't even understand what was the point of adding alloy, no constellation, nothing, and D tier. I think you already know this if you're a Genshin player, so I won't talk much more about this. Well, Geo Traveler is another cat, because Geo Traveler is another character that can boost your crit rate. Overall, he's not a very useful character either, but I put him on C tier maybe, just because he's slightly better than the animal. He does have some use, because because he can boost your crit rate is better than these three. The Animal Traveler can like use that with Verner do, but I just honestly, the Traveler to me has just better use, because you can maybe no. Or maybe I'll still put it in the tier, because I was about to say like he has a nice use with Zhongli, but it is which is true. But with Zhongli alone as a character, maybe it's not that much. Yeah. So, Geo Travel, probably one of the best character in the tier, because he's better than the others, but still maybe yeah, as a character alone, because I want to take in consideration of characters alone without any other particular formations and or anything else. Xiangling, S tier. Don't even have to say anything. Insane damage, strong constellation. She has a lot of formation, which is she is very strong. National team and child with Anis, with Ayato, with a lot of characters, a lot of damage. She has she has even quite an amount of artifacts that you can play, and above everything else, she can use any single polar. You can just give her a random weapon and it turns out to be strong. And there's nothing as that. She is so strange that a character can use literally any weapon, but she does, except for the Black Tassel. I think, but maybe she can even make a use of that weapon. She can even use the Dragon Spine Polar, because you can build Xiangling as you can do under any other characters as physical DPS except for the Catalyst. So she can even use this weapon, and she can use basically any weapon, and she's strong with any weapon. And yeah, her elemental skill maybe it's not the best thing, but it does boost your attack. Yeah, on a very offensive support, sub DPS. She does even more damage compared to other 5-star characters, and well, she has a lot of uses. Very strong with the child, very strong with Xinchu Bennett. You can just use them together. Very strong with Ayaka if you want to play Melt. And she's basically strong with anything that can make reaction with Pyro. So S tier. And Xiangling is also a free character. She will get a free copy, a Xiangling free copy. Although they have given copies of other 4-star characters as well, Xiangling is a fixed free character for all players, because all, like for example, they have given a free Xinchu, a free Peito, but those were events related to events. While Xiangling is obtainable through the Spiral Beast, if I'm correct, and she's just strong. There are other characters that are free, but Xiangling is above everyone. And also because she's a Liyue 4-star, it's very likely that she can be because they have done this twice in a row for 2 years. That usually during the Lantern Rite, which is around the Chinese New Year event, they usually make you choose a free 4-star character from Liyue. Xiangling is from Liyue, so her constellation are even good. So if you have all the 4 stars and from Liyue, and you have Xinchu C6, then you can think about getting Xiangling's constellation with that. Although her constellation are quite easy to obtain because she's quite in a lot of banners. And that's it. Ningguang, oh my, Ningguang sit here. I don't have to think it twice because she has the same problem as Klee. No weapons, no artifacts, no damage. Nothing else to add. Very easy. A very pretty character, and she looked like a 5-star, but she turned out to be a 4-star without a weapon, without artifacts, and without damage. It's easy city. And even one of the worst on the city. Xingqiu, I have mentioned Xingqiu before. Xingqiu S tier. So these three are the trio that have always been in S tier. Technically, because of Dendro, the Xingqiu is the better than, like, has slightly more uses compared to the other two. I still like Bennett more. Xingqiu and Xiangling for me are the same. Xingqiu had gained a boost through the Dendro element, because then the Dendro element was released last year, so it's quite recent. And yeah, what else I have to say? A lot of damage, a lot of uses, nice element, strong constellation. His best weapon is the sacrificial sword, a 4-star weapon obtainable through the gacha system and also quite easily. Nice selection of artifacts, especially the emblem of Severed Fate on both Xingqiu and Xiangling is just another level. Yeah, Xingqiu is just like Xiangling. They have both nice selection of artifacts. Xingqiu, although Xingqiu can use other weapons as well, I only recommend using the sacrificial sword because that's the only weapon I'd play for him. A 4-star weapon. I wouldn't even say use the Light of Fowler Incision that gives more than 80% of pre damage. Just play a 4-star weapon. Like, what else do you want? He produces a lot of particles, so he can be like some sort of battery. So he has so he can produce particles. Yeah, strong characters. But the reason I think I still like Bennett more. I have some issues sometimes with Xingqiu, which is when I'm in the domain for the Mondtadt talents books, because they are all cryo enemies. The hell if you're playing Barbara. Sometimes I get frozen while using his elemental skill. I don't know why, because he doesn't apply Hydro on the characters, unlike Barbara, but he does become frozen sometimes. I did not understand that. Yeah, overall he's here because of his element. If he was Pyro, I'd put him here, but yeah, because I don't like the fact that he sometimes still can make you become frozen. But yeah. The next one, Congyun. Congyun, Xingqiu's bestie. Congyun is quite hard. I like Congyun a lot. Congyun can be a burst support, and he's quite nice. He can be a DPS, decent DPS, cryo DPS. Cute constellation. He has a lot of. I like playing him as a burst burst DPS, and that does a lot of damage. I put him in B tier, maybe here. because he doesn't really have a specific role. I'm quite not sure. He doesn't have the potential of becoming an A-tier character, that's for sure. At least not now. But yeah, I'll put him here. Beito has changed a lot with the Dendro. Beito is just the issue with Beito is, so I place Beito on B tier. The main reason is because Fischl exists, and I never thought once of using Beito instead of Fischl. And if I needed an electro character, Fischl is always the first choice. She's not bad, but we have Fischl, so I prefer Fischl to Beito because Fischl is just stronger. Keqing is for me an A-tier character. Keqing is a standard, a 5-star character from the standard banner that gain a lot of value through the Dendro. She does have nice amount of damage, and yeah, like a honest character, she had the potential to become an A-tier character, and she became an A-tier character because you can increase the damage with this aggravate reaction, and yeah. Otherwise, if there wasn't Dendro pool, I would have placed Keqing on B tier just along with the others. But now with the Dendro, she can stay in A tier. Maybe not one of the first character, but she gained the place for an A tier. Qiqi heals, but D tier. Again, not many uses. If I gave her more max because she's a cryo healer, then Diona would have been an S tier character. If I need a healer, I definitely will not be thinking about Qiqi. Long cooldown on her elemental skill. Nothing in particular, like no uses. Constellation, mediocre constellation. She has a constellation that can resurrect the characters or something, but again, your character shouldn't be dying usually, especially if you're using a healer. I mean, definitely the weakest character. No, not the weakest character from the standard banner, but D tier. Xing Yan also is a D tier because her kit is just so strange. She has some physical damage, but she also skills on defense, and she has a very strange kit, very strange skill and constellation, and claymore user, pyro vision, physic with damage that are about more on the physical, but she also scales with defense. It's just a character that wasn't made well. Fast, and that's it. Nothing else to say. Claymore user above all. Zhongli, S tier without doubt. Although he is not the same Zhongli as it used to be, because we have Baichu now. And because of the danger, he's Geo, and we all know this. The danger has changed drastically everything. Zhongli is still a solid S tier for me, because Zhongli makes you immortal. His shield is way too strong. He's the only character that has got a buff. His shield also is also debuffing the buffer. Debuffs the enemies, makes them weaker, but Zhongli has a problem. Zhongli is also the reason I've started playing Genshin Impact. He's like in my top 3 favorite character or something, but he has a huge issue, just like Venti. His constellations are useless. I mean, and for that reason I place him here. Every time I think about his constellation, I just get angry, because C1 is I remember his constellation because C1 a bonus pillar. The problem is if I have to play you can use Zhongli everywhere, but if I want to play him in the full Geo team, which I usually do, that constellation is useless, because the number of Geo constructs are capped into 3, which means I can't use that constellation basically, because 2 pillars, Ito's cow and Albedo's flower for a construct. So that constellation is useless. Even if I'm playing with the Geo Traveler that plays 2 constructs and something, I can make a use of this. If, as I said, the Geo Traveler can play well with Zhongli, but if the Geo Traveler can place 2 constructs with his skill, or even 3, I think. I don't remember, but at least 2. And Zhongli's pillar makes all the Geo Traveler's constructs and his elemental burst to resonate and deal more damage. The problem is the constructs are capped to 3, so it's a useless constellation. His C2 makes me very angry, because it is a constellation that gives you the shield when you're using your elemental burst, which is useless because his shield has a nice duration and cooldown. And the point of this constellation is that your teammate in a co-op have the shield as well. Let me know what's the point on giving a constellation to a 5-star character for the co-op. I never play in co-op, and I don't care about the co-op or any co-op gameplay. I just want to play alone. Well, apart from this, you're seriously making me to roll for a constellation to buff to give my co-op teammates a shield? For example, if to a player like me that never plays in co-op, and I don't know, this constellation makes me the worst constellation in game. The worst constellation. At least Venti C1 gives you a arrow to use in your game. And this constellation, yeah. C4 makes the range of the elemental burst bigger, which is also useless. C6 is the only strong constellation, but I rather get the C5 and the C5 and the C3 honestly, because the they at least gave me some level for his skill and burst. When the C6 absorb the damage, when you have the shield absorb the damage and turns the damage into healing. but because you don't take damage with the Zhongli's shield, you don't need healing technically if you're playing Zhongli. If it does make sense. Child 8 here. Child 8 here, and he has the damage. He has the damage and has the team comps. But he wait a second. No, I'm not sure. He does have the damage. The only issue I have is with his skill cooldown, because if I have to play in the Spare Abyss, I'm wasting some time, but an amount of time. Yeah. I think he can be a honest 8 here, because he does have a great weapon selection, and he has also an amount of artifacts he can use, especially with the newest one. Yeah, I think before the newest, the latest artifacts have been released, I would have put him in a B tier, but he can stay in B tier at one of the last characters. I prefer Ayato, because Ayato is easier to use, but Child is very strong against multiple enemies, and also one of the best boys of the game. You don't have to even to think about, and Child is a honest 8 tier. Just because the latest artifacts have been released. Otherwise, I would have placed him in B tier, because he has a nice selection of weapons and artifacts to play with. Ganyu S tier, without saying anything, has insane amount of damage. Again, because the Child has a nice selection of weapons, so Ganyu does. Ganyu's signature weapon is actually the Amos bow, but it's not even her best in slot, because you have the Aqua Simulacra. You can use the Polar Star if you want. You can use a lot of weapons, and Ganyu has an insane output damage, and that's why she's S tier. Xiao for me is still an A tier character, because he does a lot of damage. Maybe they're not enough for now, but still a pretty solid character, I think. I place Xiao in the A tier alone. If you use him with Farzan at C6, Xiao can be even stronger, but Xiao as a character alone is a A tier for me. Solid character. Maybe he does have a signature artifact set, or you can just play him hybrid. Maybe the issue I have with Xiao is his weapon selection. He doesn't have a lot of weapons to play with. If I have to think about a free-to-play weapon, I'll say the White Tassel or the Blackleaf Polar. Yeah, maybe I'll place him here, because one of the main struggles is that Xiao doesn't have a affordable weapon to use. It's true that his signature weapon is standard weapon from the standard banner, but it doesn't mean that you get that weapon. This is my main issue with Xiao. I still think he does a decent amount of damage, but the weapon is quite a problem, and his artifact set is actually not that strong. It does not make that much difference as other characters with their artifacts have. But Hu Tao, S tier character, easy to use, easy to build, a lot of weapons to use, insane amount of damage. Maybe she doesn't really have a... No, she has. She can play Hu Tao as hybrid by giving her the 40%. You have many. You can like... you have also a decent selection of artifacts, because you could potentially give her like the hybrid set with the HP. You can play her with Shimenawa or with Crimson Witch, but she has a nice selection of weapons. Hu Tao is already strong at C0. She has been boosted by the new Hydro Resonance, and nothing to say. Strong character. Yanfei 8 tier for me. Nice DPS for being a 4-star. She surpasses Clip, and nice constellation. And Yanfei has the issues about the weapon, but she's still a 8 tier for me, because no, yeah, well, wait a moment. Actually, these characters, Catalyst user have a budget-friendly weapon, which is the Wit Seed. It is not a signature, like this does. Is maybe not the best on a DPS character, but it's still cute because of the crit damage. So, but Yanfei is a nice DPS in my opinion. Nice character, nice constellation. If she can put on herself a shield at C4, if I remember, but something like that. She even have a shield. Sung-He. For me is a B tier, because she is a 5-star buffer for a specific element, but I mean, it's not necessary having her. She does not make that difference. Oh my god. No, wait. Okay, I clicked there as a mistake. So I was saying, so I was saying, she doesn't make that difference compared to Goro or even to Faruzan. Oh no, the characters have returned. Okay, wait. I think I'll finish with the Liyue character and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. Need the Liyue character. Okay, so Sung-He, yeah, for being a 5-star character, it's not that worst. Because she doesn't make that much difference, in my opinion. Okay, she does buff your cryo DPS, but quite limited, and also she does not make that difference like a Goro can make. And well, next one, Yunjin. For me, Genshin can be a bit here. Cute support and just nice buffs, but not really incisive. She has quite a strange gameplay style because she wants different elements, and I think she's a cute support, nothing special. I mean, Yelan, S tier, like 5-star Shinshu, 5-star version of Shinshu. She of course does more damage than Shinshu. Having them together is better than having just only one of them. If you play Shinshu, Yelan, Hu Tao is just insane. Yelan is strong for the same reason Shinshu is strong. They apply Hydro. It does a lot of damage. Yelan in particular, the strongest point of Yelan is that she can deal Hydro damage, while Shinshu can slightly heal you and makes you invulnerable to interruptions at some point. And Yelan has a nice damage output, and the element above all, the Hydro element, is very strong at the moment. Yao Yao and Baizu. Yao Yao. And this is a character I place in between S and A tier. Yao. I place Yao in S tier, because I acknowledge the fact of the danger and anything. She has nice healing. This is one of the exceptional healer. She's not, unless I'm playing a team that needs some danger reaction, I wouldn't play Yao. This is a fact. But she has her signature artifact set, which is the Tenacity of Milelis. It works a lot, like not signature, but she does have an artifact set as weapon selection. What else to say? S tier just because she triggers. She's the core of a lot of elemental reaction. But maybe 8 tier. Yeah, maybe 18. I stay safer with 8 tier. I don't want to, like, because S tier Baizu, I don't want to put them on the same level. Yao is still a strong representative of 8 tier, but Baizu, it's true that Yao is a 4-star and Baizu is a 5-star, but there's just too much difference thinking about this. Baizu has overshadowed only because Baizu it's true that Baizu doesn't have that strong shield only has, but Baizu has like Thoma's shield, but something like Thoma, but is a shield that refreshes a lot. But Baizu can heal his danger, he buffs danger reactions, and he heals a lot. And that's, I think that's it. Baizu also plays very well with that Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayer, which is a catalyst you can use with any of your support, but on Baizu in particular, because he wants HP and he's quite easy to build because you want hybrid set with between the artifact attack is HP with the 2 pieces. Yeah, and that's it. Baitu, yeah, amazing character. Maybe I'll put him here because he is just amazing. And I think I finished also Liyue characters, and we're missing only Inazuma and Sumeru. So I think I stop here for today, and this is the current tier list with Mondtadt and Liyue characters. We'll be doing I think tomorrow Inazuma and Sumeru, and that's it. Maybe the only thing I'm not sure is Diona, but it's the cryo elemental. Yeah, but it's just because if I have to, because the cryo elemental has become quite overshadowed, but yeah, I think this can satisfy my taste, because it's based on my personal opinion and my personal gameplay. I like Diluc a lot. For me, Diluc is A tier, but objectively Diluc has to be a B tier character because he does not have the same output damage like a Shao or even Keqing. Yeah, this is the temporary tier list, and I think this is good. So we'll be back on the next live stream for the second part with the Inazuma and Sumeru characters. So thank you guys for watching this live stream, and see you next time. Bye bye.